Dad called my seizures attention-seeking until I had one at his retirement party. My first seizure happened when I was 11 years old during a little league game. One second I was running to second base. The next, I was on the ground with paramedics shining lights in my eyes. The neurologist ran every test, showed my parents the brain scans, explained epilepsy in detail, and prescribed medication I'd need for life. Mom sat there crying, but Dad just crossed his arms. On the drive home, he said the doctor was being dramatic and that I probably just got overheated. For 8 years after that, he treated my condition like a character flaw. Every time I had to sit out of something stressful, he'd roll his eyes. When I told coaches I couldn't do flashing light drills, Dad would pull them aside and say I was exaggerating. He called my medication my drama pills and would forget to refill prescriptions for weeks. The neurologist gave me a medical ID bracelet. Dad called it my trophy for being soft. My older sister Megan was the only one who took it seriously. She'd seen me seize on the kitchen floor when I was 14, watched my body go rigid, and then shake violently for 2 minutes while she called 911. After that, she learned everything about seizure first aid. She knew to clear the area, time the episode, turn me on my side. Meanwhile, Dad told relatives I was faking for attention. At family dinners, he'd say things like, "Watch him suddenly have a seizure when he doesn't want to do dishes." Everyone would laugh nervously. Uncle Barry once asked if my condition was real, and Dad said, "Real convenient. That's what it is." Mom would look uncomfortable, but never corrected him. The worst part was the public mockery. At my high school graduation, Dad told the parents sitting near us that I had a condition and made air quotes with his fingers. Strangers saw me differently after that. Then came Dad's retirement party. 30 years at the same accounting firm, and he wanted everyone there. Extended family, co-workers, neighbors, his golf buddies. About 50 people packed into a rented hall with strobe lights from the DJ booth and a fog machine someone thought was festive. When I walked in and saw the lights, my stomach dropped. "Dad, I can't be around strobes. They're a trigger." He grabbed my arm hard. "You're not ruining this for me. Just don't look at them." Megan tried to intervene, but Dad cut her off. "He's fine. He just wants attention because tonight isn't about him." His boss was watching, so I stayed quiet. The music started, the strobes pulsed, and I tried to focus on the floor. I could feel my head getting foggy. The familiar warning signs. I told Dad I needed to step outside. He blocked my path and said loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "See? Already starting the act." The strobes kept flashing. I felt the aura coming on, that strange metallic taste, the world narrowing to a tunnel. Dad was mid-speech at the podium, thanking his colleagues when I felt my legs give out. I remember hitting the floor, then nothing. Megan told me later what happened. My body went completely rigid, then started convulsing violently. Chairs scattered. Someone screamed. The DJ killed the music and lights. Dad stopped mid-sentence, mouth open, watching his son thrash on the ground in front of everyone he'd ever worked with. Megan was already on the floor with me, moving a chair, telling people to give space, timing it on her phone. The seizure lasted almost 3 minutes. When paramedics arrived, I was barely conscious. One of them asked what triggered it, and Dad's boss said, "The strobe lights." His son tried to warn him. At the hospital, the ER doctor was furious. She pulled my parents into the hallway while Megan stayed with me. I heard her through the door. "Photosensitive epilepsy isn't a joke. Strobe lights are a documented trigger. Your son told you, and you ignored him." She handed them documentation about seizure protocols. This was preventable. When Dad tried to explain, she cut him off. "I'm noting this in his file. If this happens again under similar circumstances, I'll involve protective services." The party ended early. Megan said half the guests left in shock. Dad's retirement celebration became the night everyone watched his son seize on the dance floor because he refused to turn off the lights. His co-workers couldn't look at him. His boss shook his head and walked out. Aunt Denise called Mom the next morning and said what Dad did was unforgivable. Megan drove me home from the hospital. When we walked in, Dad was sitting at the kitchen table alone. He said, "I didn't know it was real." I didn't respond. I went upstairs, packed a bag, and moved into Megan's apartment that night.